Once upon a time in a serene valley, three monks known for their wisdom and discipline embarked on a pilgrimage along a winding path that led them to enlightenment. The green hills rolled gently alongside them, and the air was thick with the sweet aroma of blooming flowers. This harmony created a peaceful atmosphere, one that had nourished the souls of many who ventured through the valley. As they walked, exchanging thoughts about life and their spiritual quests, they encountered a river. Its deep blue waters rushed with a fierce current, roaring and tumbling over smooth stones. The river was a barrier, and for a moment, the monks considered how they might cross to reach the other side, which was shrouded in ethereal mist and promised new insights and experiences. But just as they contemplated their next steps, a chorus of cries pierced the gentle sounds of nature. Curious, the monks peered across the river and saw a child stranded on a rock, tears streaming down his face. Overcome with compassion, the oldest of the monks, known as Ryu, stepped forward. His heart, full of kindness, urged him to help. "You stay here," Ryu instructed his two comrades, Michi and Taro, before stepping into the cold embrace of the river. The current pushed against him, but Ryu's determination and steady resolve allowed him to move forward. He quickly reached the child, who clung to him, sobbing. As Ryu turned to return, a sudden slip sent him into the icy waters. The child clutched tightly to his robe, panic flaring up in the boy's eyes as the wild current threatened to sweep them away. Ryu struggled against the force of the water, his strength waning, but his heart remained steadfast. Michi and Taro, standing helplessly on the shore, watched with anxiety and despair, shouting his name. They could not bridge the distance that separated them, nor could they defy the river's power. Ryu, in the chaos, called back to them as best he could, "Trust in the flow. Be still and know your truth." With those words, he pushed through the waves, holding the child above the roaring water. Eventually, after an exhausting struggle, Ryu managed to reach the bank, tired and gasping, yet triumphant. He laid the child gently on the ground, comforting him until the sobs ceased, replaced by intermittent sniffles. Michi and Taro rushed closer, relief washing over them, but confusion soon lurked in their hearts. "Why did you risk so much?" asked Michi. "You could have drowned us both." Ryu, still catching his breath, looked thoughtfully at the river and then back at his companions. "I saw a need, and my heart spoke louder than fear. Sometimes we must plunge into uncertainty to find a deeper truth," he gently explained, the wisdom of ages glittering in his eyes. Taro, ever the cautious one, frowned. "But you placed yourself in danger. A true monk must be wise and avoid situations where harm may arise." Ryu smiled, sensing the tension between his friends. And yet, wisdom sometimes calls for action rather than avoidance. To be compassionate, we must sometimes embrace risk. It is through such trials that we discover the essence of our being. The monks stood silently for a moment, digesting their master's words. Struck by the gravity of the situation, Michi frowned even deeper. "It was reckless, Ryu. You could have lost your life, and that would serve neither you nor the child." "Perhaps," Ryu conceded, his voice calm. "But would it not be even more reckless to ignore the suffering right in front of us? To choose safety over compassion?" His words lingered in the air, potent and unresolved. They continued their journey, the river behind them, but the lesson of that moment remained firmly etched in their hearts. Days turned into weeks as they traveled together, sharing laughter and experiences that were profound yet often simple. The balance between diligence and spontaneity became a fresh puzzle for their minds. Each night, under the luminous moon, they would gather around a small fire, reflecting on their individual experiences. Michi often shared stories of his disciplined practice of remaining vigilant against distractions and temptations, strong in mind and body. Taro recounted his efforts in being cautious, taking the measured path, ensuring that each step was calculated. And Ryu, with glistening eyes, spoke of moments when he allowed his heart to lead, trusting the universe to unfold as it should. One evening, they settled beside the flames dancing high, casting flickering shadows upon their faces. Ryu spoke. "Sometimes we prioritize precaution and tranquility, afraid of storms that may come. Yet, do we not remember the warmth of the sun after a heavy rain? the wildflowers that bloom after storms have passed? Embracing life means dancing amid the downpour and trusting that we can emerge strong and wise. As the weeks passed, each monk began to feel the weight of their philosophies. Michi struggled with the idea of his guarded ways, questioning where they led him. Was safety truly worth the moments of joy he had sacrificed? Taro found himself grappling with the notion that perhaps being overly cautious robbed him of experiences that could enrich and enlighten his spirit. Ryu, meanwhile, continued to thrive, responding to the world in ways that defied the fears that often kept others bound. One day, as they approached a mountain, they came upon a steep incline, leading them toward a temple said to hold answers to their deepest questions. They stood at the base, gazing up at the formidable challenge. Michi suggested a careful strategy, moving with deliberation, one step at a time. Taro concurred, advocating for a jointly planned ascent that minimized risk. But Ryu, eyes sparkling, looked beyond the summit and smiled. "Brothers, let us trust our hearts. We can traverse this mountain not just with our feet, but with our spirits. Let us dare to leap, to climb freely. Life is a dance, not a routine," Ryu proclaimed. His passion inspired a moment of unity within each monk's heart. Hesitant yet hopeful, Michi and Taro nodded, and together, they decided to embark on the climb with a mixture of Ryu's fervor and their cautious approach. Upward they went, laughter echoing against the rocky walls, and uncertainty faded as they discovered a rhythm, feeling the exhilarating freedom in their steps. When they reached the peak, an extensive vista unfurled before them, stretching into eternity. The mountains rolled and danced like waves, and the valley below sparkled with the light of 1,000 suns. It was a moment that transcended thoughts, and they breathed it all in, feeling their hearts align with the expansive universe. The journey back to the valley became a contemplative affair. The monks deliberated over the lessons learned and the importance of balancing risks and responsibilities. Ryu's words echoed in their minds as they continued onward, leaving an indelible mark on their spirits. As they descended, they made a pact to embrace life with both caution and courage. Each would support the other, recognizing their individuality while celebrating their differences. They learned that allowing their hearts to guide them, while remaining grounded in reflection, had transformed their journey into one of unity, growth, and profound understanding. In the end, they realized that wisdom did not merely lie in knowledge, nor deep expertise, but within their collective experiences, the laughter, the struggles, and the moments shared. They understood that they were interconnected, three branches of a single tree, bending in the wind yet always returning to their roots. In conclusion, the story of the three monks offers a powerful reminder about the importance of balance in life. It teaches us that we can act with compassion while also being mindful of our well-being. By embracing the dance between caution and courageous action, we discover our path toward growth and enlightenment. Ultimately, it is our choices, rather than our fears, that shape our destinies. So let us venture forth, embracing both the known and the unknown, for therein lies the richness of existence.